Guys, this is Amar and we're back with the videos. I took like a 2 day break, which wasn't intentional, it just happened. I hope you've been well. The 2 day break happened because I was kind of like burnt out making daily videos. So I think once in a while I'll take a break, but we'll continue these videos. I know right now we don't know how many people eventually benefit from these videos, but I think at some point when the channel grows, people would be able to watch these videos, learn something from these videos. I think they will add a lot of value to anybody who watches them, because there is some conceptual idea that is being shared through a story or through the thought of the day. So we're learning something. And we're growing together. I think, and it's a good investment of time in the lockdown. Right? Cool. So we're reading the book. I'm reading the book 10 short stories from 10 short stories for young adults, and we are on the 7th chapter. We've already read 6 stories, right? Yeah. So we've got 4 stories that we're supposed to read, and I'm gonna read the story on competition right now. So the conceptual idea behind the story of competition is we should be competing with ourselves and not with others. So let's see. I denounce the popularly accepted definition of competition around the world, causing people to go mad. I realized this after having gone mad. So I think this is about when I got depressed because I was constantly comparing my life with others. So if you're constantly comparing life with others, it's highly likely that you will go depressed, because there's always somebody who's doing better. I'm not competing with anyone out there. I'm not trying to catch up with anyone. I compete with myself. Competition for me means to exceed the standards I set for myself, to be a better person than I was yesterday. If it's a race, it's a race with myself. There is no external competition. I'm about to finish writing this book in times of the movie 3 Idiots. Okay, that was when I was writing this one. The hysteria around the movie has not died down yet, and I hope it does not die for years. It's one of the most phenomenal movies our film industry has produced. Thanks to Amar Khan and his team for involved in making of these highly inspiring films. I believe that human beings should not be compared to each other. No two human beings are the same. The dynamics are just too complex for comparison. An orange can be compared with another orange. An apple can be compared with another apple. But we are not apples or oranges. Unfortunately, in the social structure currently, people will compare anything possible. They'll compare a cow with a dog and say that dog is useless since you cannot milk it. Please allow me some exaggeration. I hope that the point is made. Let's take an example. Roger Federer is one of the greatest tennis champions the world has ever seen. He's still the greatest. He's still playing at 39. So is Pete Sampras. I used to follow Wimbledon quite vividly in Pete Sampras' times. Now, who's a better player? Who's supposed to decide? Let's use this. Who's a better player? Who's supposed to decide? What are the parameters of arriving at the decision? Who can say the parameters are sacrosanct and they cannot be challenged? The experts of the game must say that the player has gone on to win the maximum number of Grand Slam tournaments is best. That is the parameter of success. However, someone else may challenge this criteria. One might say that the player has won the maximum number of tournaments on grass is the best. Someone else might say that no, clay is the right parameter of success. According to all these different parameters, the result of the best may be different. What I'm trying to say is the best is a very subjective term. It depends on the thought pattern of the person who is deciding the parameters. Your life is your race with yourself, not with anyone else. It's an everyday struggle to fight to be better than you have been. It's a fight to be who you might be. All competition with others is useless. We decide differently, we think differently. We compete differently, we work differently. The dynamics are not the same, they're different. Let's take my writing as another example. The hypothesis Amar is a good writer. Now what happens? Someone will say, compare to what? Whose writing could you compare this to? Let's think of together some parameters. Who are the contemporary writers? What genre is this book? And by the way, I've targeted this book to a young audience whose minds are still in the process of shaping up and not resistant to change, like a lot of old folks who regrettably say I'm too old to learn new things. Now, who are the writers who are young who are writing to a young audience. What kind of books have they written? I'll give you another question. What is the purpose of their writing? Let me give you the purpose of mine. It may change as I'm always in a state of flux. I write to express life in a way I see it, and more importantly, in the way I want to see it. To tell a story that makes others think. Lately, I did write a purpose. My mission is to make the world an inspired and happier place. So all my work, especially writing work, is to inspire people to find their happiness. So the mission is to make the world an inspired and happier place. So I'm trying to inspire people to find their happiness. In order to compare me with another writer, you'll need to find someone who has exactly the same purpose, isn't it? Maybe you can find someone who has a similar purpose, but I doubt you can find someone who's had the same purpose exactly. Now you can start comparing. There'll never be a justifiable comparison. I've read many books and written literature in my short life so far. I'll continue to read because I cannot live without it. Have there been writers who have influenced me? Yes, absolutely. There are many. If I need to pick on one writer who's had the most influence on my thinking, she's Ayn Rand. I love her writing, almost every sentence of it. You can say that I am influenced by Ayn Rand's work. I think that may be correct. So far, I've read The Fountainhead, and I'm reading Atlas Shrugged. I've finished reading Atlas Shrugged. At that time, I was reading Atlas Shrugged. I'm sure that if I stay alive for some more time, I'll read every word of her work. Yes, I read the Virtue of Selfishness also. So I've read everything. But then you cannot compare. If I reach a few percentage points of quality of her work, I'll feel proud of myself. To me, her writing was godlike. I'm not competing with anyone. I'm working on being a better writer with every page I write. Competing with myself. Do not insult yourself by comparing yourself with anyone else. You're unique. You're unprecedented. There have been people before who looked like you, spoke like you, have had other similarities. But no one was exactly the same. Even identical twins have a difference in their fingerprints. And that is besides their thoughts. Okay, let me tell you a story. Aditya Gupta was an average student. He belonged to a lower middle class income family in India. His parents thought that he was useless. They would always compare him to his sister, who was a topper in her class. They would also compare him to his cousins, his neighbors, anybody they could think of. Everyone was better than Aditya. It was tough for the poor boy to keep him motivated for anything, with only discouragement coming his way from home. He did not find much interest in studies. Passing the exams was only a measure to please his parents and relatives to him. He spent as little time on studies as possible, as required to pass examinations. He liked cricket and was the captain of the college cricket team. Nobody cared about that in the family. He was doing BA in English from a college in Delhi University. He got admission there because he was cricketing genius. He had been leading his school cricket team also. On the basis of his marks, he would not get admission to a regular course in Delhi University. These days, marks were touching sky high, and one could not think about admission in any college or University of Delhi with less than 80% marks. Now it's even worse. The top colleges are cut-offs in the range of 90 to 95%. The times are not far when there will be students with 99% marks, and they'll be told to stay out since there will be students with 100% marks in their school leaving examinations. Aditya had scored 72%. The entire neighborhood was tense about it. Mrs. Verma, who did not have anything to do with it than sitting outside her house and staring at people, had come to visit Aditya's home after she heard about the news. What will Aditya do now? You know, these are times of intense competition. I have no idea what will happen to him now. With these marks, he'll not get admission anywhere. You know, Mrs. Sharma's son scored 75%, and he could not get admission anywhere. He was now in Pune working at a cycle repair shop. What could he have done? These are tough times. What will happen of Aditya now? She said this to Aditya's mother, Mrs. Gupta. We do not know. I think he will do something. We're not decided it as yet. Let's see. Okay, do not worry, please. I do not know what is happening to the world these days. Oh my God, these are tough times. Mrs. Verma left with these words, seemingly disappointed. Every day, she would sit outside her house and stare at everyone. No one understood what her purpose was and what drove her. That time, Mrs. Gupta complained to Mr. Gupta. Mrs. Verma had come and said that there is no hope for Aditya. You know, Sameer, who had scored 75%, did not get admission anywhere. Now he works in a cycle repair shop. I wonder if our Aditya will go the same way. Aditya's father got very depressed about it. He did not say much at that point in time and went out for a walk. Aditya was so relieved after getting admission into the full-time college. He wondered whatever would have happened in case he did not. So many people are dying of heart attacks these days. Thanks to cricket, he could survive in this world. Thanks to cricket, he could survive in this world. Yeah, this is a beautiful story. So I mean, the finished story is not yet over. But the thing is, we need to latch on to one or two things in life, one maybe or two things in life, which, on the basis of which we exist and we survive in this world. Those are the one or two talents that we have, and we gotta believe in ourselves that we can work on those talents and become really great at those things, and those things are our sources of survival in this world. For Aditya, it was cricket. Aditya's father had a small business. He used to manufacture certain equipment used in the water meter and supply it to the meter manufacturing companies. There were many such companies in the market. The market was big by that measure, but since there were other manufacturers of the same equipment, there was competition. The margins were going down. His father would talk to his mother sometimes about the ills facing the business and how life was becoming even more difficult with every passing day. The family had a small house with 2 rooms and a kitchen, and since the house was small, Aditya could generally overhear what his father was saying. He did not know if his father wanted him to overhear all of that. He just did. Unfortunately for his parents, Aditya had no interest in the business. It did not make any sense to him, like most things. He wondered how he could spend all his life making an equipment that got fit in a water meter. Is there all life there is to life? I want to be a cricketer, he told himself. He did not think much about it. But he was also very good at writing in English. He did write a few articles in the school magazine. Since no one appreciated, his interest drifted away. He did not get away from cricket since he felt passionate about it. Aditya's sister was an A student. Her name was Ashna. She was in standard 12 and brilliant in biology, chemistry and maths. She wanted to become a doctor, and all signs for it were positive. Throughout her student life, she had been a topper in her school and had received many academic awards. Students from the neighborhood would come and visit her with their doubts, and she would help them out with a touch of modesty. Aditya and Ashna had a nice, friendly brother-sister relationship. Aditya was the elder brother, and he felt a bit inferior to his sister inside, although he never mentioned that. He knew that she was such a star student, and everyone eulogized her for her academic prowess. To eulogize is to think of, to speak of highly, to praise. One day he asked her to accompany her for a walk. How are you so intelligent, Ashna? I do not have the same interest or intelligence. Well, I do not know, Adi. I just like it. In fact, I do not even spend as much time studying as some of my friends do. It just comes naturally to me, I believe. People get surprised at the way I solve problems in mathematics and physics, and I'm surprised that they're getting surprised about it. I wonder how you do not understand it. Have you exerted enough effort? But I have, Ashna. I do not get it. You know these science subjects and you study them completely. Do not enter my mind. I almost flunked in physics while in standard 10. In case I did not get rid of them then, my life and personality would have been destroyed by now. Now that I've made much of myself, I'm happy I chose arts. Not that I've made much of myself, I'm happy I chose arts. So he studied arts, right? I'm studying English now and I like it. I enjoy reading literature, Aditya said. There's so much wonderful literature written in the world by writers in many genres, and I enjoy reading it. I love playing cricket, and I'm the captain of my cricket team. Although no one cares about it at home. I scored a century in the last inter-college tournament, and there are murmurs around some of the players from our college may be given a chance in the state team. Do you think you'll be able to spend your life reading literature or playing cricket, Adi? You know how tense are Mummy and Papa about your future. Mrs. Verma came yesterday also and said all sorts of stupid things. Ashna asked, conspicuously worried. I cannot say anything for certain right now, sister. I'm working hard on cricket, and that is my hope right now. If I do not succeed in cricket, perhaps I'll try to become a journalist since I'm a good writer. Somebody should have a place for me in this wide world. I hope so, Ashna said, looking into Aditya's eyes. People got busy with life. Mrs. Verma also forgot about Aditya's studies and focused on other people. Aditya's father's business improved. Ashna topped the pre-board examination. Her school leaving examinations would be held within 3 months, and everybody knew that she would sweep the exams to become the state topper, or maybe the national topper. She was also preparing simultaneously for medical entrance examinations that she would need to crack to enter a medical college. Aditya was now in the second year. The exams would be held within 2 months, and the selection of state-level cricketing tournament was to be done within a month. He did not discuss the issue with anyone at home, although he had briefly spoken to his sister some time back about it. This time he did not tell anyone about the dates. He really wanted to make it to the state team. There were 4 spots in the state team and he was one of the contenders. There were 16 contenders. He had to work really hard and prove his mettle in order to be selected. The selection, it had been declared, would be based on performance in 2-week inter-college tournament to be held at the end of the month. Aditya felt that his life depended on it. He decided that he would devote all his attention to cricket for now, and in case he did not get selected, he'll give up cricket and start focusing on his undergraduate studies. It was a risk he decided to take. He decided it was going to be a boundary or nothing. I'll not be a single. It's an amazing story, man. Wow. He started working on it all day. He would leave home in the morning and come at the end of the day. His mother asked once, "You're coming unusually late these days. Any reasons?" "I go to my friend's place to study. We're preparing for the exams. I want to score better this time." He would lie to his mom. His mother looked extremely surprised and walked away. He would get up early in the morning and reach college. The coach was available from 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. "You're doing well, Aditya, but as the captain of our college team, if you win the tournament for the college, the chances of selection will increase. You've got to understand you'll have to perform not just as an active member of the team, but also as the captain to make it to the state team." Aditya's coach reminded him, "Yes, sir, I understand. In case you make it, do not forget me." "No chance of that, sir. The competition will be tough." Everyone was heard as saying there was excitement in the university about the inter-college tournament. Aditya worked every moment he could. He could do something about he could only do something about his effort and nothing about what others were doing. He motivated his team every day and drilled to their mind that they were going to be the ones who will pick the crown. He focused on his batting since that was his area of strength and worked extensively on fielding. He was fighting against himself every day in nets and making sure that he did everything possible to win. 8 colleges were participating in the tournament, representing a team. The selection for the state team was to be made by a special committee appointed by the university out of the 16 contenders. Group A, B, the matches were decided. Every team in Group A will play a match with the opposite team in Group B as shown in the table. The matches would be played in knockout format in this round. Aditya's college represented Team D in Group A. The first match was with Team J. The tournament started with tremendous enthusiasm. It was a strong match. Team J batted first and scored 275 runs in playing first. Aditya scored 85 and took 3 catches. Aditya's team won by 6 wickets and entered the semi-finals. Aditya was applauded by his team and coach for the victory. There were students from around the university to watch the match and buzz was exhilarating. At the end of round 1, 4 teams were left in the tournament. Team G, H, C, D. The structure of the semi-finals was such that 2 games were all that it would take to decide the course of his destiny. He wanted it badly. He could not afford to fail. In the semi-final match against Team G, he managed to score 49 runs. They batted first and the total score was 225. Team G had some excellent bowlers, so they did not allow the otherwise rampaging players of Team D to hit many boundaries. This is a tough total to defend. He confronted his team and told them 225 is a decent score and we'll defend it. We'll defend it because we'll not allow them to hit any boundaries. If they do, we'll not allow the ball to hit the boundary line. We'll jump and stop everything. We'll win. This day will not return. Fight your guts out. Team D was a different team that day. They turned into a bunch of flying men who did not allow the ball to cross the boundary. The bowlers were at their best. The men were on fire. Team G managed only 89 runs. Aditya's and his team were off to the finals. He could not contain himself. His family had not known about the tournament so far. He did not think it was of interest to them till he won. Aditya's coach, he did not think it was of interest to them till he won. Aditya's coach decided to invite his family for the final match secretly. He went to the house and told them this story. Aditya had no idea his family had been invited. The final match was between Team D and Team H. The stadium was mad with excitement. Students from all over the university thronged to watch the final match. Aditya faced his team. They were looking at him for words that had been pushing them to perform at their best. Aditya said, "My friends, you made to the finals. You're all stars. Today is a very important day. Go and make the most of it." The teams arrived in the stadium to a big applause, waving to the spectators. Aditya was looking towards his right while walking towards the stadium and he saw his father, mother, his sister. They were all clapping. He stood struck as if by lightning. He did not move for 5 minutes. He could not believe his eyes. His father moved his hand over his head, said, "All the best, son." Ashna held his hand and said, "All the best, Bhaiya." His mother just kissed on his forehead. He could have asked for nothing more, and perhaps one of the most important days of his life. He started walking towards the stadium and looked backwards on the left and saw his coach just gesture on the side of victory. Aditya was on fire. They won the toss and decided to bat. He had been opening throughout the tournament. He hit the ball all around the place and scored a century. He raised the bat and gestured towards his family. The team scored 309 runs. Team H gave a good fight. At one time it looked like they will achieve the target. They're running at a run rate of 8 runs per hour till 120 overs when Aditya took an incredible catch to claim the wicket of the lead batsman. Team H managed to score 300 runs and Team D won the tournament. The stadium exploded. It was a great final match to watch. Aditya was adjudged the player and the captain of the tournament. His father said, "Aditya, I'm proud to have a son like you. I'm sorry for not realizing your worth and wanted to fit you according to my expectations. I realized my mistake and so has your mother. I'm sure your sister is extremely proud to have you as a brother. Well done." His caller decided to allow him another month to prepare the exams. He coached right within an envelope after a week at the end of the tournament. Aditya could not stop himself from the excitement of positive expectation. There was news that he was trying to listen to. The coach told his father, "Aditya is one of the 4 players who has been selected for the state cricket team. Congratulations to you, Aditya." A new life awaited Aditya where he was king of his own destiny. He won. Mrs. Verma came to see the Guptas and she heard that Aditya has been selected in the state team and exclaimed, "Oh Aditya, I always knew you were an excellent cricketer, a very talented boy. I knew that you will make it big in life one day and you have done it." Aditya chuckled and thanked Mrs. Verma. End of story. Alright guys, so this is the end of the story. It is a lovely story. Of course, this story was imagination, but I believe that there's so many Aditya in the world we live in. I think it's critical for us to understand how we're going to compete in this world and create a place for ourselves. Comparison is a constant plane in our social structure. If you're a student, your parents compare you to your peers. If you're an employee, your boss compares to your colleagues all the time. The sort of culture has immense potential to destroy self-esteem in many lives. It is happening every day. Do not take my definition if you do not like it. I've attempted to present my point of view. Create your own definition. Feel good about yourself. Feel good about yourself. There are many morons around whose job only is to steal your confidence and that's all they do. Do not let them. For your own sake, be yourself. It's your life. It's your respect and dignity and they're worth more than anything else in the world. Alright, that's the end of the story. Do not compete with other people. Compete with yourself.